Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from Missing Brace, who says, am I the arsehole for being angry at my mum for hiding my brace to prove a point? I am sometimes running late, leaving at 6 instead of 5:45, which gives me time for coffee. I used to have a work start time of 8 AM, but recently due to staffing issues, I work at 6:30 AM. I've also been sleeping poorly because my injured wrist keeps me up. It's a very bad sprain that hasn't healed yet. I go for imaging this coming Monday to see if I tore anything. So the last couple of days I've been out the door late, by my standards. And then twice a week I've needed to run back to the apartment for something, like a snack or my coffee. But I've never been late to work, because I buffer for traffic. This morning I tried finding my brace, but it wasn't where I left it. I halfway looked for it while I got ready, and spent half an hour solely searching for it, only to finally have to give up because I needed to leave as it was 6 AM. I asked my dad while I was looking and he said, "How should I know where you put your brace?" And I said, "I know, but it's not where I put it." He rolled his eyes at me and joked about it growing legs. Later I got to work, I texted my mum and she said, "If you had gotten up earlier, you would have had time to find your brace." I explained again, it hadn't been where I put it. Kitchen table. We don't use it as a dining table. And she said that people move things on the table all the time. I should be more conscientious of my time so I can look elsewhere. I asked point blank, "Did you move it?" She said, "You left it in the way." I put it on my bathroom sink. She said, "In my house, I can move whatever I want." I asked why she did it and if she knows how much it hurts me, but she still hasn't answered. I'm pissed. I'm in pain. I had to drive in carefully with my wrist still too tender to move. I can't even move my 2 fingers, and typing is going to be brutal all day. I did use an ace bandage, but it isn't ideal as it doesn't provide support like I need. Or because my mum wanted to make a fucking scene about my ability to get out the door in time. There's no way it was in her way, because if so, she should have moved other stuff on the table. And we're going to start in the comments with Substantial Pressure, who says, "Your mother gaslit you, made you late, and hid your medical device. Of course, you should be mad. Not the arsehole." Another commenter says, "Not the arsehole, she deliberately let you suffer in pain to prove her point. This is beyond normal. Anybody who messes up with another person's medical needs is an enormous, gigantic arsehole." Enter the Hellscape replies to that and says, "It's an absolute shit point too. In what world would the kid be looking in their parents' bathroom for their stuff? A place OP doesn't mention that they go frequently. Having 15 extra minutes to search isn't going to help when I would never search there. Also, OP, or stop phrasing it as late because you are not. Leaving at 6 AM is right on time. Leaving at 5:45 is early. Leaving at 6:05 example is when you're late. Giving negative connotation to something like that when it's really not gives cunts like your mother ammo against you, because it makes it seem like you're the one to blame in this scenario. The Loneliest Ghost says it's time to get the fuck away from your trashy, abusive parents, especially your piece of shit mother. I can't even begin to explain just how angry I am for you, but it sounds like her being a giant pile of garbage is par for the course. Disgusting. I'm sorry you had to deal with someone who is only capable of caring about themselves and doesn't have enough friends to keep them busy, so they don't act out like a hungry toddler." And one more comment from Throwaway, who says, "Textbook narcissistic behavior. Your mum. I didn't move your brace on purpose. Even if I did, what's the big deal? It's your fault you're at work without it. If you'd gotten up earlier, you would have had time to hunt for it. It's not like I'm the one making your wrist hurt at work today. I didn't cause the injury. Look, stop being upset. I'm sorry you feel this way. Next time, just wake up earlier. None of this would be an issue if you could just wake up earlier." I basically took the narcissist prayer and applied it to this situation. Is it accurate? I bet it is. And absolutely, that's a good point there. And I was just thinking, what is the mother's point in this? What is she trying to achieve? It just feels like a giant power play. But 2 days later, OP came into the post and said, "I meant to do this. that same night, but fell asleep earlier than I expected and was at work all day yesterday and didn't have the chance to really put in effort in this post. Oops, then I tried posting it last night and Reddit was glitching out on me. Thursday, I text Dad screenshots of my talk with Mum where she admitted to moving my brace. He didn't respond for a while except to say, "Good talk at home," after a few hours and "You're not in trouble," to reassure me. My lovely work schedule meant that by the time I got home, it was around 9. By then, Mum and Dad had apparently already talked a lot. Dad immediately apologized to me and gave me my brace back and asked if I needed ice or Tylenol. He apologized for what Mum did, but also for how dismissive he was of me that morning, even if I had lost it due to my own actions. It didn't help me the way he acted, and it was mean and disrespectful. Mum apologized to me, but it didn't feel like she meant it at all, and I felt like she was holding back a lecture. I haven't really talked to her, and she sure as shit hasn't spoken to me since then, so things are really tense to say the least. Dad is also pissed at her. He's even been sleeping on the couch, and he hates doing that. I made him a heating pack yesterday morning before I left for work for his hip because the couch always hurts him. So yeah, that's it. I'm looking for a place. My friend and her fiance had offered me a couch to crash on if I need to get out immediately, which was nice of them. They are basically my emergency out. I'd only be staying a few days. I'll make sure of that much. I couldn't talk to the leasing office yesterday, so trying again later today, if they're in, and Monday if not. About breaking the lease, since I'm on it too. I told my boss the truth of why I didn't have my brace, and he was furious on my behalf, which was affirming. He even let me have Monday off for my appointment, even though I didn't put in the time off and I need to give notice normally, and let me leave earlier than expected. He's a dad himself, and he said that he would never ever do this to his own kids, so he doesn't understand my mum at all. He asked if I felt safe, and I said yes. But I honestly never thought about it, and the more I think about how things are here, I don't know if I was entirely honest in the moment. I don't trust my mum anymore, and I feel my skin crawling to be in the same room as her. Basically, I'm in limbo, waiting to talk to the office about my lease, but there's a couple apartments on my radar. As a given, I've been going over my budget and spending too. My room is practically packed up. All my shit is in my room. Piles easy to toss into boxes. I'm going to get a bunch of boxes from a storage store to put into my car today too. The kind you need to just build them up and fill them and then go. I have my documents, and I have for a while, in a safe place. Well, not all my stuff is technically in my room. I'm debating taking with me the appliances and furniture I bought for us all, like the coffee machine or microwave or the ottoman for the love seat. I know this is an update, but let me know if it'd be a dick move to take the coffee machine, microwave and ottoman. If you feel like it. I don't really intend on it, in all honesty, but I'm pissed enough. It sounds like a fun time right now. And we have a further update from OP in a moment, but some people were asking questions, to which OP was replying to Jinboy5 says, "Take the microwave and your stuff, as you'll have bigger expenses now that you'll be on your own. This also will make your mum see what you brought to the place now, that she will have to cover the cost to replace." OP says, "She's already going to be upset when I leave because my portion of the rent and utilities and groceries and other expenses that I pay help a lot. The rent has been going up since we moved in, and at one point Dad worked 2 jobs and she was working serious overtime. I feel bad knowing that they would struggle to upkeep the cost here. I'd say it is totally fine to take a coffee machine and microwave. That is something you will need. Regarding the bigger piece of furniture, consider the hustle to transport it. It depends on what you have at your new place, if there are enough furniture." Opie says, "My boss asking me if I felt safe made me reevaluate how I interacted with my mum, in ways I still don't really want to think about. This isn't the first time she's caused me pain to prove a point, physical or emotional. If you count making me go hungry at a dinner party, physical pain, and it's not the first time that it has taken more than a day or 2 to even talk about it. And I can almost guarantee she'll continue to explain herself and paint her actions as reasonable response to what I did, because of the fact that she's the parent, and she and Dad have been on the lease since the start, and I've only been on it since I turned 18. Gamer Princess says, "I'm so happy to hear your dad realized his mistake and stood up for you. I can't ever imagine sabotaging someone I love and risk them making their injury worse, and I don't even have kids. Maybe your dad might be sick enough of your mum to move out with you." So 11 hours after that, OP came in and said, "So, not going to do a full fucking post, but yeah, We finally had the talk. I genuinely need insight. I feel like I've been made to feel insane for thinking I could have expected things I put out in a communal area would not be touched. Dad's tried a few times to reassure me, but I'm just not getting it, or it's not sinking in. He's always been the softer disciplinarian, but Dad isn't. He was so indulgent of me always. Maybe I'm selfish and not carrying my weight, and maybe Dad is hindering me by being so patient. I'm also drunk at the moment, typing one-handed on my phone, so sorry for typos. The conversation started out with my mum laying into me for not doing enough to be unintrusive. She said when I cook it reeks because I use curry powder or turmeric or cumin. My food is disgusting to her, tofu and tempeh, and I don't keep my leftovers in my drawer in the fridge, like I do the actual initial product, so she has to deal with a Tupperware full of gelatinous tofu in her face when she opens the door. She likened it to congealed semen before Dad intervened and said she was going too far. What? Weird. My almond milk keeps finding its own way in front of a half and half creamer. When I vacuum, I don't always move the couch, and therefore I don't vacuum as part of my household chores. Like almost the entire time of her listing shit I do to deserve Thursday, Dad kept saying she was going too far and she'd backtrack a little, but say it was still disrespectful of the household for me to act that way. Mum said I never fulfilled my promise to go back to school. I pointed out I'm working on it. I'm going to community college a few courses a semester at a time, but took a break because work got crazy on me. And she said that my rent will have to increase because I'm not prioritizing it anymore. When I started crying, she said I was being too emotional and told me to go to my room to calm down enough to keep talking like an adult I wanted to pretend to be. I've never felt more belittled, insulted, and demeaned. And we had some awful fights. I don't know why it hurt so much this time. If I weren't drunk, I drove over to my friend and stayed the night. I don't want to impose on her though, by ruining her weekend with my bullshit on top of making her pick me up. Someone says on the back of this, what the actual hell? They made you get on the lease at 18. Mummy doesn't get to tell you to do the chores and go to your room anymore. They made you a roommate and nothing more. You don't get to tell your roommate what to do. Your mum can fuck right off with her bullshit. Sober up tomorrow and get the hell out. And you know what? Take the goddamn coffee maker, microwave, and the ottoman. Roommates take their shit when they leave. Your mum fucked around, she needs to find out. Apologize to your dad if you feel you need to, but he knows this is coming, and he knows exactly why and who is to blame. Plot twist, it's not you. I just want to cover one comment because as I was reading them, it sort of summed up my thoughts in a much better way than I could. Cut Rate Cringe says, OP has to pay rent, so she has to work. This means she can't prioritize school. Now her mother wants to make her pay more rent because she can't prioritize school over working. Okay. Mum is crazy. She wants OP to be an adult. She can't still manipulate like a child. Hope OP can get out of there and into a better situation. Let Mum enjoy moving the couch to vacuum. And absolutely, I just hope that OP gets themselves out of that situation as soon as possible. Talk to your friend and lean on those support systems that's willing to support you in this time. I think they will totally understand, like I would with any friend who found themselves in a similar situation. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, I've had a request recently to explore some other subreddits, and we had a kind person over on our subreddit r/marknarrations suggest the r/tales from the front desk. And I saw this story and I thought, hey, why not? I like to be of service. This is from Other Cantaloupe 4765. And by the way, Tales from the Front Desk is stories from the front desk of hotels and hostels and others in the hospitality industry. It's titled The Lion, the Witch, and the Audacity of This Bitch. Don't book a single room for your whole family under the assumption that we'll upgrade you for free. It baffles me that so many random people walk in and say they would like an upgrade. It doesn't work like that. We don't just give free upgrades to anyone who asks. We don't even randomly upgrade the shiny members. If we make a mistake with your room or reservation, we'll ask if it's okay to upgrade you. If we accidentally overbook a certain room type, then we'll offer someone an upgrade. If something in your room is not functioning and it doesn't represent the standards we keep, we'll upgrade you. If it's a slow night and we know you're having a hard time, i.e. had a car accident, escaping domestic violence, unexpected death of someone close to you, we'll quietly ask you if it's okay to upgrade you. Sometimes third parties upgrade people without asking them first, and I'm the one who has to take the shit when they don't want that room. Sometimes, a lot of the time, third parties literally just lie to people, and sometimes people are entitled bungholes. Even worse are the entitled bungholes who book using third parties. That's the type of person this story is about. I'll call her Kim. It's a busy as fuck night. We're completely booked and have no rooms left to sell. So Kim comes in at like 9:30 PM, having booked a pet-friendly single room, one queen bed, as a prepaid, non-refundable reservation made through booting.com. We know who that is, don't we? She comes to the desk, tells me her name and says, and I'll take a free upgrade. Thanks. And then just keeps going through her purse as if she didn't say some entitled shit. That ain't how it works, Mom. I blinked at her a few times until she looked up and I said, I'm sold out. There aren't any other rooms available to upgrade you to. She immediately jumped to saying, well, booting.com told me I could book this room and then ask for an upgrade when I got here, and you'd give it to me. Did they now? I can't say whether they did or not. To be honest, it could go either way. I can see Booting doing all that shit, and I can also see Kim making that up. Let me also say that if you book OTA, we aren't giving you an upgrade unless something in your room is seriously fucked, and another room of that same type isn't available. I think OTA is online travel agent, so basically booking through a third party. If you book APPNF, I can't put you in any other room type anyway. When thinking about who to upgrade, we cross off OTA reservations first. Mom, even if I did have a room to give you, I wouldn't be able to switch you because you booked a prepaid non-refundable reservation, and I'm not able to edit those in that way. But Booting.com said you would give me an upgrade. Well, Booting.com lied to you, bro. Opie said, like I said, this is the room you booked. I'm all sold out and I can't change your reservation. He says, well, what am I supposed to do now, huh? I have my kids and husband with me, and we can't all sleep in a single room. Okay, then don't book a single room for your whole last family and assume I'll give you another one for free when you show up. A fucking entitlement. Holy shit. I can't believe I have to say this, but if you're traveling with your whole family, you need to book a room that accommodates your whole family. That's up to you. I can bring some extra pillows and blankets if you'd like, and I think I still have a rollaway available if you want that. And Kim is Asian and primarily speaks an Asian language. Apologies, I can't differentiate between Chinese, Japanese, and Vietnamese, etc. So she's having trouble understanding what I mean by a rollaway. I try a few synonyms, cots, portable bed, and describing it, but she's not getting it. Which is fine. I can deal with language barriers on the daily with this job. Meanwhile, her two daughters are standing a bit behind her while this is all going down. And the older one, probably about 10 or 11 years old, I'd guess steps in to translate it for her, which was super helpful. And Kim says it's not acceptable and wants to be upgraded. I can't give you a room I don't have, Your Majesty. I said, that's the best I can do. Bottom line, would you like the rollaway bed I offered? Kim starts to take a breath and a 10-year-old daughter interrupts her and says, yes, lol. I looked at the daughter and said, sounds good. I'll bring it to your room when I have a minute. And then I finished checking them in. Pretty bad when your 10-year-old kid is more reasonable than you are. Shake my head. Oh, and I told my manager about it and she checked the cameras. I thought it was just 4 she was going to have in the room. My manager told me she counted 9 people going into that room. She said, holy shit, it was like a clown car. All those people kept packing in there. All I could think was, yep, that's a fire hazard. Insane. People, book the room you need. Don't walk in and expect us to give you a free upgrade. A lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine. I was kind of thinking, you spotting all those people going into the room, don't they have to be like thrown out or something? Surely they're not allowed all those people to just cram into that room, or was you just sort of done with that shit? And the fire hazard to go with it as well. absolute batshit crazy. Once I had the most amazing upgrade ever. I don't get many of these things, but when it happens, it's incredible. I went to Manchester and I stayed in the Hotel Dakota, I think it was. And I got in there and, it was just settled down. And they told me that the room was a bit delayed. And I was sat there for a while and nothing was really happening. So I went up and asked them again. And eventually they brought out a manager and said, we'd like to upgrade you. And I was like, oh, I kind of like the room that I had. But they said, oh, we'll put you in the suite. And I thought, is it going to be that much of an upgrade though? And I was like, oh, I'm in an arguing about it. Eventually said yes. And got taken to this room. And it was something else. It was too much of a room, if anything. It's bigger than where I live. Had a front room, a dining room, a bedroom. Had a steam room in it. A massive shower and a hot tub in the room as well. It was just ridiculous. And of course, I didn't want to go out for the rest of the day then. And I was hungry for some fried chicken in the evening. So I went out and got some and came back with my bag of chicken. I must have looked like a right idiot, like going to this top floor suite with all this crap in it. And there's me with my little bag of chicken. I'm not sure why I find that funny. Anyway, now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.